quick mention. Um, the joke in question, it's not just going to be funny for the niche people who were mentioned. I mean, I think that for them, I think that the reveal is going to hit in a deeper way, I think. But it's going to be funny for everybody. Like, I think, yeah, it's going to be funny for everybody. Um, so I was trying to explain to somebody um, the other day that I think that there's two different kinds of bakeries, and in general, two different kinds of other businesses too. And what I mean by that is, let's say that there's two people, Alice and Bob, and Alice loves to bake, and so she really just likes making really good baked goods. And she comes across an opportunity, maybe a real estate agent friend knows about a commercial unit for sale, or she inherits something, and she's able to kind of have this business, this place, where she can serve people this bread that she's proud to make, and she doesn't want to be rich. She just wants to be able to kind of get by, have a comfy retirement. And then there's Bob, and Bob doesn't know how to bake, but he knows that there's an opportunity in the area to sell baked goods to people. He knows that people want them, so he hires a bunch of people who are going to do the work. And his goal is just to kind of get to a place where there's enough bakeries that he can just coast along and not even have to work, or whatever. I guess I shouldn't presume what Bob's goals might be. But the point I was trying to get across to this person was that one of these is a bakery and the other one is not. The other one is like a Frankenstein thing wearing a bakery skin suit. And it occurred to me that there's a problem with the English language where there's not really a distinction between these two things. And what I mean by that is that you can't go into one of these Frankenstein bakeries and you can't tell somebody, this isn't a bakery. This is a thing wearing a bakery severed skin mask. And so I think that's a problem. Well, I didn't know what order I was going to talk about things when I set off to do this. And I certainly didn't think I was going to be doing this, but I want to talk about physical media. I guess what I mean by that is, yeah. Um, What was I talking about here? Oh yeah, physical media. Um, so someone shared a meme with me. Um, I don't know, and it just kind of got me thinking about physical media in general. The meme itself doesn't concern me too much. I think it's pretty funny. I think I'm well represented in there somewhere. Um, but it did get me thinking about physical media. I mean, like I guess the archetype that the meme's based on would be someone who's like yelling at people because they think physical media is better quality. Um, I don't know anyone who personally believes any of that. Um, and I think there's usually kind of like a misunderstanding because um, it's not that. I mean, again, yeah, the person who's like a caricature, I guess, is probably like that. But for most people, it's not like um, streaming services are heresy. Um, but it's more like I just it's just getting shit out there. Like with some of them, just the artists are getting paid less and less, and the people who own these companies are not doing good things. And but the concept in general, I'm fine with. In fact, um, um, I don't know what they got down here, but let's see. Oh shit, they got Hail Mary Project on this thing in 4K. Let's fucking go.
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
All right, that was nice. Um, and I and it was nice. Um, yeah, I just don't know of any services offhand that are very good. So as a concept, I'm not against it, but and also like in general, I get it. That like, uh, it's hard out there, and you got to have music. So it's like we got them. Um, but so I was thinking about how I consume music and media a little bit, and so um, records, vinyl. I'm not a vinyl guy. Um, I'm new to like I've always had some kind of amount of vinyl and a player around, but I was never like a collector or like I know about the pressing. I don't know. There's people who seem to know a lot about this. That um, mm, um, but so I'm not. But I like how they sound. I think they sound nice, and that's good enough for me. And they do sound different. I think there's no question there. I think some people maybe get a little involved with the. It sounds better. I think it does, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody ran an experiment one day that proved that it's not better than some other format. But I just like it. I think it sounds nice. Um, uh, and like also like I sunk some coin on a record player recently, and I have never heard anything like it before. The record players I had in the past were hand me downs. I remember one, I don't know where it came from. It never had a lid, so it was just always covered with dust. And I didn't know that you're supposed to keep dust off of the records or whatever. So I would just play a record and Well, Lord knows what that does. It never sounded that great. Um, let's see. So for me, like records, I don't know. It's just if a record kind of if an album hits kind of a sweet spot for me, where like I could see myself wanting to like sit down here and be introspective and put on headphones and just sit there and like listen to the album. Then that's when I would buy something like that. It does. There are limits. That's not the only factor because they're heavy. They take up space. I'm finding it's really quite a challenge to keep them clean and dust free all the time, and it becomes almost like if I just can't imagine having more than this. It feels like yeah, just it's already hard enough, and I might have like I don't know 15 or 20 records or something like that, and yeah, I'm gonna have to hire someone to take care of them in a second. So then after that, there's not even necessarily an order, but I guess if I had to pick one, I would say CDs are next. They're they're durable. They sound great. I just like having a physical thing. I think it's cool. I like having the album art. I think it's nice. I don't buy CDs quite as much anymore. Just yeah, I'm almost like traumatized from like moving them around over the years from place to place. Like it's a hassle. But after that, I guess that's when there's kind of like, well, tape cassettes are in there somewhere. I think I might have bought one or two in recent years. Again, I think they're neat, but I don't even have a tape cassette player right now, so I don't know why I have them. Um, and then there's MP3s and whatever. So as far as digital goes, I like these. Wait, what am I saying? As far as these go, I like Bandcamp kind of the best. I haven't totally dug into them, so like I don't know, but they seem like they give the most amount of money to the artist. And it's nice too because you can put in more of an amount. So if you feel like you can pay more or that you want to, then you can do that. And then that extra goes to the artist. I don't want to mention them. You can buy MP3s other places. But again, the artists are just getting like shit, like not much. And so sometimes for me, there's even like a balance where like I like going to Bandcamp over a CD because even with a CD, that it's not quite as good. But again, it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. And and then if I can't get it through Bandcamp, you can go elsewhere to find it. And I've made my peace with that. Um, Two things. So one, I don't like it if it's an artist that I really like or respect or want to support. But usually what I end up doing is they'll have like usually an artist will have some kind of like donation or something, some way you can get them something like, you know. Um, yeah, or like what I have done. I did this recently with the Hope Conspiracy because I really wanted to get one of their older albums that I remembered fondly, but it wasn't. I couldn't find it. Like, so I downloaded it and then I went and bought their other album, but then I basically just like doubled the price of the album to cover both. Sorry, the Hope Conspiracy. I hope you don't mind. Um, yeah, and then on the other side of that equation are bands like there's a lot of these, but the most recent one that comes to mind for some reason that sticks in my mind is Slipknot, just because I've never really listened to Slipknot seriously, but I could see myself getting into it and maybe digging it. But they just recently sold, or maybe it was a couple years ago now. They sold their music catalog to like a private equity firm for like $200 million. So they're fine, and I'm not worried about them. Sorry, dude with the mask. Fuck.
Justin, seems good. We do this.
That Ryan Gosling. What a heckin' chonkers. Uh, um, so I forgot to bring this. Oh. I forgot to bring this earlier, but I do have an MP3 player, and it's sick. Um, there's no way this is going to make any sense in this video, so maybe I'll pop some other video in later. But so it came with software, obviously. And and you'll see, because I know future Josh will put B-roll in for this, that it boots up in like 10 seconds or something like that with the stock firmware. And I didn't think too much about it. But my good friend John said Rockbox. And so I installed that, because I like free software a lot, but I'm not I don't require it. Like I'm fine with like ancient, weird firmware that doesn't have source code anymore. Fuck. Hope that hasn't been making noise. Don't need that right now. So I'm fine with that. And so it hadn't crossed my mind. But I don't remember why. I was like, well, let me try it. And it's just better than the stock firmware. It loads fast. Like it loads within 1 Mississippi. It's just super fast. And there's a lot of there's actually like a bunch of weird stuff in there like that I haven't even seen completely. Like I think it can even play Doom. I think it plays Doom. If I'm wrong about that, I'll cut that out so that nobody ever knows. Yeah, and that's it. I don't know. I'm fine with digital media. I'm fine with streaming, but I just don't want Jeff Bezos to know every time I listen to an album. That's just a little bit. You need to buy me a drink first, is what I'm saying. Oh, stories within stories, reflections within reflections. Um, there was just a couple things I wanted to touch on real quick. I do have a phone, which I almost feel like someone would be shocked by if they were watching this video. But I have a phone, and I listen to music on it sometimes, quite a bit actually. The one thing I will say though is that there's always surprises lurking down here, and it's not an iPhone and it's not an Android phone. Yes, there are options out there. No, they're not easy to come by. Maybe I'll pop a couple things up just in case anybody wants to try to explore that without a guide. Good luck. But we'll definitely be talking about that phone more later, on a later day. My friend John made this picture. It was a little while ago. I feel like it could have been over last summer, but no, it must have been. It wasn't that far away. It was a little while ago. And he made this picture, and he showed it to me, and I saw it, and I really liked it. And he said, "Do you want a blanket with this picture on it?" And I said, "Hell yeah!" And a week later, this blanket showed up. This is only one part of it. There's a lot more, and you will get to see it in time. There was one other thing I wanted to touch on about streaming, because I feel like I didn't really hammer this point home. So I'm not opposed to streaming. I just don't like any of the offerings that are out there. And like, I feel like there's room out there for lack of a better term, like a human streaming service, like a streaming service for humans where like what you pay, like I know that to run these huge platforms with lots of movies and music, there's overhead in terms of bandwidth, storage, compute costs. You have to think about your regions. It's a whole thing. And I know that. But I guess what I'm asking for is like I would like a service where I pay a certain amount of money per month, and then that money covers those costs plus a little bit more, because I think it does make sense to have profit and expand and add features, human features. So, I don't know if it's possible. Like, the way all this stuff works now, you're paying for it. You're always paying for it. And if you're not paying for it directly with money, you are paying for it like with the Shadowlands. Maybe I'll talk about that more in another time, but you probably can figure it out. And so that's it. I guess what I'm saying is, look, I'm not telling you what to do, because I'm not your mother yet. But I wish, like, the problem with all of these streaming services is they're not streaming services for people. Um, so I think that does it for streaming. Oh, and so I wasn't going to talk about shows, but 'cause I was talking a long time about supporting artists. Um, Shows are a great way to do that, and I kind of forgot that that's sort of part of my whole thing. I mean, so like I said, like, oh, I like to buy these things that support artists. Shows are one of the better ways to do that. If you can go to a little local show, especially one that's not, you know, it's not Ticketmaster or Live Nation or all these other ones. It's not one of them. It's hard to find those, but they're there. And then when you're there, you buy their T-shirts, you buy their CDs, you buy their vinyl, buy their posters, because you're buying it directly from them at that point. And so they get to pocket pretty much everything except the overhead costs of what it costs to have those things produced. So that's actually one of the best ways is, if you're thinking about buying a CD and the band you want to see is in town, go see them, buy the CD. All right, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to kind of talk about those last couple things because they came to mind when I was going over the putting the other stuff together and shooting B-roll and listening to it and kind of like listening to things I forgot to talk about. I don't really have a script. I realized also when I was watching that it looks like I'm always looking off to the side, like I'm looking at a script. That's just what I do. Like I just look all over the place when I'm talking. My laptop is right here, and I do look over at it sometimes to make sure things are framed right or if something's kind of showing up the way I want it to. But I don't have anything there. I can see a video of me, and I can see my audio level so that I know it's cool. I write, sometimes I write scripts when I have an idea, I write it. I write it in org mode. You will be hearing more about that. So be prepared. But it's usually just like, when I kind of get the idea, I'll jot it down. And generally for me, like once it's jotted down, I kind of got it. Like after, like it's the process of going through writing it. Kind of locks, it's good. I got it. But there are little details that get missed. And the only way I would have them is if I had them on like some kind of like whiteboard or checklist. I do make notes too. And I had some here just for those last couple things. So I remember the things I wanted to talk about, but, yeah, I don't really have a good way to, like lead these things out. So maybe I'll figure that out at some point. But for now, good night and sweet dreams. Goodbye, cruel world. I'm leaving you today. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And goodbye, all you people. And there's nothing left to say to make me change my mind. Goodbye. I didn't plan on talking about this. And maybe I won't put this in. We'll see. But I'm simply giddy with excitement for a reveal that I have planned for episode 3. And I feel so confident gloating about it that no one will figure it out. I feel very confident about that, and that just gets me stoked for this. I mean, to be realistic, it's for a very niche joke that of all the people who have been mentioned or will be mentioned in the Emporium, and you know who you are, there's probably only 4 or 5 people who would be kind of in on the joke, who would really kind of know about it. But also, I don't know if there's enough pieces to like completely like have enough stepping stones to get there. So I guess also I shouldn't be too I'm just confident because it's not like a really well designed. Well, I don't know about that. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited. Yeah, and I'm glad we had this chance to talk. We'll be in touch. Goodbye. This is W9GFO. Do you copy? Ernest, this is Josh. Come back.